Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, staying clean. I'm so happy that you're a part of my recovery this morning. Yes, I had my cup of coffee and I'm ready to share about recovery. Excuse me. We're going to talk about understanding yourself. And what I had to learn of in my addiction is that the drug wasn't the problem. It was the situation behind the drug that needed to be addressed. I had to learn to understand myself, why I did the things that I did, why I used, and why this happened to me. And when I look back and I did my recovery and I did my 12 steps several times, I came to the conclusion that I was looking for validation. I was looking to be accepted. I was looking to be loved. I was looking to be a part of, which is some of the things that I was not experiencing in my life. But I knew that when I had my cocaine, that people flocked around me. I got attention. People treated me like family. And this is what I was looking for. But I was looking for it in the wrong places. I didn't understand that the drug was the reason why people was coming around me. But my need for that validation masked the truth about the situation. The drug became a gateway to what I wanted, but then it became my prison. So today, we're going to talk about ourselves, understanding ourselves, why we act and do the things that we do, why we feel a certain way about things, and how we can work through things in a very productive manner. First, I had to learn that what I was feeling were feelings and emotions of how they set with me. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the truth. It's just how I perceive things to be. So, since I perceive these things to be this certain way, I would act and feel a certain way. I realized that most of my decision making on these matters were done by feelings and emotions, how I felt and how they affected me. And I put that into my decision making, which caused me to make a false decision, a bad decision, something that would hurt me. Recovery taught me that, Robert, you're the one that has the issue. And in order for you to get better, you must know thyself. In order for you to stay clean and sober, in order for you not to fall down the rabbit hole anymore, you must know thyself. So, recovery was teaching me a way of getting to know myself, because for 40 years in my active addiction, I was using and abusing, but not paying attention to my actions and why I was doing the things that I did. All I was concerned about, at the foremost, was the getting and using. Once I have, I'm good. And all the other thing that goes around it is just noise that I did not really pay attention to. And I would use the drug to give me some peace or whatever else I needed at that particular time. So I realized in my recovery that doing the 12 steps in the program of recovery taught me to look at myself honestly, openly, and to share my dark secrets with someone. And this is where I learned that my secrets was my worst enemy. I learned that I hid my pain. I hid the things that I'd done to others and myself. I did not look at these things. And I would do my best to hide these things that I did from others. I would do everything I can to make sure that it did not get out. And what I was doing was I was building a prison for myself. So recovery taught me that I built a prison for myself. The addiction and the pain and the trauma that was done to me than I did to others, all that, I tried to suppress that, to hide that, which caused me to live that pain over and over and over again. Or when I would address that situation, it would hurt. Understanding yourself. That is the most important thing for a person to do, to understand yourself. How do we understand ourselves? Look back at your history of your actions and deeds about certain situations, and look at yourself in these periods with honesty and an open mind. I learned that my secrets will destroy me. I learned that I am an imperfect person and I make mistakes. And I'm not no different than anybody else living on earth. We all are imperfect people and we all make mistakes. But I learned that we try to hide the mistakes that we do. We try to hide the dirt or the things that hurt us the most. And I'm finding out in my recovery that these are the things that kept me in prison in my mind. So they were living rent-free in my head. And how I can change that behavior is let go and give it to a power greater than me. At that particular time in my life, in my early recovery, I shared that with someone in the program of recovery that brought me through the 12-step program. After I completed the first time, I went and did it again. And I shared it with another human being, the exact natures of my wrongs. Then I started to realize is that, Robert, you're as sick as your secrets. So when I let my secrets go and shared that with another human being, and then they shared some of their secrets, basically, I was holding on something that I really shouldn't have been holding on to, because holding on to the pain and the mistakes and the hurt caused me to act a certain way and perceive life in a certain way. So I never healed from the things that I held so dearly close to me that I don't want nobody to know. All I did was suppress it and allow it to live rent-free in my head. So I have to do the research on self. I have to dig deep into myself and find out the cause and the roots of my situation and issues that happened to me. And as I have years in recovery, it has taught me to live a certain way. Things do not affect me like other people do because I have no problem about sharing my pain with others. Because I don't hold it against myself. I don't feel bad about the situation anymore because I allowed a power greater than myself to restore me to sanity by giving it to them. Or what I choose, I gave it to God. God is my higher power. I gave it to God. I left it in God's hands. And that changed my life. That meant that nobody can hold nothing against me. Nobody can hold a mistake against me. Nobody can hold anything against me and make it have credence with me or make me feel bad. Because today I understand who I am, what I can and cannot do, and how things make me feel a certain way. So for me to grow into my recovery that I have, is that I keep the focus on myself. I address the things that were very painful to me in my life. And in order for me to have a sound, strong, present life and future, I must address the things that hurt me the most and clear the wreckage of that past. If someone hurts you in a relationship and you're carrying that pain, you have to let it go, understand what happened, and you have to forgive that person and forgive yourself for going through that situation the way you did. People say, well, why are you going to forgive that person? It's not for them, it's for yourself. Because if you don't, then it lives rent-free in your head. And when the circumstances fits that criteria, you're going to feel the same emotional pain that you felt during that situation, which is going to put you on a defensive, and you're going to make a wrong decision in that situation. But if you forgive them and give it to a power greater than you, which I've given it to God, then I'm not carrying it no more. And then when the situation comes up and I understand that's a feeling that I'm going to feel because it happened to me. But it's not the truth of my present situation. I can see it clearly now. Why? Because I forgave the person that harmed me. So, understanding yourself is the most important thing to do in your life. And I believe that Robert has to pay attention to Robert at all times because Robert acts on the present and the information that he has from living for 66 years. So I have the information of living 66 years, plus what's going on in the present is going to cause me to feel and act a certain way. And I must make sure that my actions and my feelings are acting in the proper manner that it should. And the only way that can happen is I must constantly clean the wreckage of my past. I must constantly clean the wreckage of my past. I must constantly work on self. I must constantly understand that I am an imperfect person and I do make mistakes. I must understand that other people make mistakes. I understand that people do what they can so they can live their best life that they choose to. So they do things to make sure in their eyesight that this is the best course of action for them. And it has nothing to do with me. Each person is trying to live their best life in the way, in the eyes that they see fit. But recovery taught me that I can have peace and happiness if I constantly clean the wreckage of my past, if I constantly deal with each situation in my life that has affected me badly, that I put it out there, share it, forgive, and move on. And when I forgive the person and don't hold no animosity for that person for what they did, I've had peace with myself. I had happiness with myself. That situation doesn't have power over me anymore. And that's what I need to keep on moving forward in my recovery. I'm going to make mistakes. There are going to be issues, but I must learn how to clean the wreckage of my past as the mistakes that I make, move forward, and live my best life. So I hope that you understand yourself. I hope that you spend time to understand yourself, why you act and feel a certain way. The more work you do on yourself, the better your life becomes for yourself and others, the people around you. You'll have peace. And what I learned by me having peace, I truly listen to what another person says. I'm not clouded by my past problems and issues and situations in my life because I'm cleaning the wreckage of my past. So I don't carry that living rent-free in my head, which will cloud my judgment and cause me not to hear what a person is saying because I'm so wrapped up in my own life and my own situations that I hear nothing that they're telling me. But once I've cleaned the wreckage of my past, I truly hear what a person is saying and I see exactly what they're doing. And that life that I have now protects me from making bad decisions. I hope that what I shared today will help you in your recovery. Understanding yourself is the most rooted problem that we don't address. And the only way that we can learn about ourselves is to forgive others for the mistakes that they've done to us. To let go and let a power greater than you restore them to sanity. I hope you all have a great Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember, you are the best thing that ever happened to you in your recovery. People are watching you and they appreciate you in their lives. And a lot of people are proud of how far you've come and what you've achieved in your recovery. You're a blessing to my recovery, and I know you're a blessing to many people in your recovery. You have a great and wonderful day.